Welcome to the Coils Collective Podcast, New York Tech Week edition. Today we are here with
Carlos.
Giovanni.
Carlos and Giovanni. Wow. How did we get here?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Actually, so we were both living here. He was here working. I'm here as a student. And once he left the country and he went back to Italy, you contacted me. Fun fact, yeah, I was like, let's just, yeah, as I said, like it was a very busy day. But I'm like, let's do it. So we met at this co-working space. You were both working. We all met. And yeah, so we were speaking about what should we do. And we ended up organizing a New York Tech Week event. So I would say it was kind of casual in a way, but that's how things happen. So very cool.
Casual but intentional, I would say. You know, like honestly, there's a concept of like when you go into a meeting, especially with somebody new, that you can try to know what you want to get out of that meeting, even though you've never met the person before, right? And I think with you, I was impressed by a lot of the things that you were doing, especially as a student, were social events, right? Like typically for us, like tonight, our events with you all, which maybe you can describe it, is our first social event. But you started with social events, right? You started with social events. Tell the world about the event that we have going on tonight, and maybe about that process as well.
Yeah. So at this meeting we had, remember you asked me, we want to bring up something like Italian related, because like we are both Italian, you're half Italian, so we're like, why not, right? So we started chatting about what should we do, and eventually we ended up with this idea of an aperitivo night. Aperitivo, for who doesn't know, means basically happy hour. So this is gonna be not only for Italians, actually it's for founders and VCs, obviously like mostly tech related because it's the tech week, but it's the food, like the Aperol spritz we're gonna serve, it's gonna be Italian, so that's the Italian part. And the idea came up like very naturally, like just speaking with you, so it was kind of cool, and it will be.
Very cool. Joe, tell us about yourself.
For me, it was kind of funny because I was, as Carlos said, back in Italy temporarily. And it was like, look, I met this guy. He's Italian-American. And I had never met an Italian-American before.
Whoa. There's
yeah,
no way. Really?
Yeah, believe me. And I was like, okay. So just because I have to go and talk to him virtually, obviously. And so we set up this call. I was impressed. I was all ears. I wanted to hear your story, what you guys do with your company. And so I felt from the get-go that special touch. And I kind of knew that we wanted to, organize something. In the shorter term, it was a New York Tech Week that is happening in a few hours. But I'm excited for that. And we'll probably discuss something for the future. I kind of knew it deep down, and I was happy, and I'm still happy about it. It was as you said, casual but intentional, because I think you have to show up even when you don't know anybody and you want to meet somebody new. You have to have that open mind.
And you guys are co-founders of New York Business Fellowship. Can you guys share how you guys got connected, how you guys decided to follow up and become co-founders of this new venture?
Yeah, I think there is a funny story before we became co-founders and before we became friends, and that is how we met. We were at a Google networking event near Times Square. It was I think Wednesday or Thursday night in November, mid-November. It was very cool. We had been going to a lot of events during that period. We were kind of tired, but we said, okay, why not? Let's just do one more event this evening. We got there almost towards the end, I would say. We randomly popped into each other and said, Italian? Yes. And so we met. We started.
How'd you know?
It's more of a vibe thing.
Somebody
I
did
would
that
say
yesterday at the hackathon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
So it really works, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really works. And so he started talking to me. I started talking to him. We had a group conversation with some other people, but then everybody left. So we started chatting. What do you do? I'm a student. I was working at a startup back then. So we met randomly started hanging out, a pizza, a walk, and going to workout together. And then basically we became very good friends. And at the same time, we started thinking about a recent experience that I had done called the Silicon Valley Fellowship back in October 2024. It was a 1-week boot camp in Silicon Valley to get fast track into the tech and entrepreneur ecosystem. I liked it very much that I wanted to, that I was thinking about what if we were to replicate it here. It's funny, I think you should continue the story with how you got in touch with the Silicon Valley Fellowship team and how you basically joined this idea and how we then ended up brainstorming here at Pace University the actual business model and then everything made sense.
Yes. So as you said, like we started talking about like New York in general, like how is it to live here as an international, and then we kind of dived into what, you know, like, because we just like talking business, right? Startup, the whole ecosystem here is huge. We attended like a bunch of events even before meeting each other. So we felt like we had a lot in common to speak about. And I don't really remember, to be honest, like how literally the idea came out. But yeah, the fun thing is like after we were just like talking, I feel it was very natural. We were at his house and we were talking, it just came out. And then in a room which is like literally upstairs here, we started brainstorming how it could develop and become what it's gonna be, because it's like the company is now open. We're gonna public launch in like this month. So actually the fun fact is that the room where we started brainstorming was the 521, and the company is 521 Global LLC. And part of that, obviously, the New York Business Fellowship Program. So that's the story behind the name.
For context, we are at Pace University. Thank you, the Front Yard and Tamir, for allowing us to be in this space. If you guys can potentially share your personal backgrounds, what you guys studied, and your expertise, and what makes you qualified to put on and create this company that you guys are seeking out to be.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I can get started. So my background is in business management and marketing. I did my college, my undergrad's degree back in Italy in business management. Then I had 2 internships, one for Heineken and one for Campari. First out of college. Actually, for Heineken, I was still in college, and I was like, wow, this is great. I'm getting real world experience in multinational companies even before I get my degree. I felt like, should I feel like an imposter, with that imposter syndrome type of dilemma that most of us have. But then I realized, well, it looks cool. It's a super nice experience, but I want more. I want to deep dive into a subject matter. And so I decided to go to the US. I had this idea of going to study to the US since I was like 16, 18.
Why?
Yeah, I think I've always been intrigued by the narrative behind a studying experience in the US. And so I was really into, I think part of it is driven by what you see on social media, on movies, the campus life, college life. I realize it's not entirely true, but there is a lot of truth in that narrative and story. So I decided to, take the leap, quit my job. After 6 months, I was probably gonna have a full-time offer, and I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's go and enroll in a master's program here in the U.S. Went to Minneapolis, studied marketing. So I graduated last year in 2024, specialized in marketing, and then worked in a couple consulting projects over the summer, and then moved to New York in September for a growth role at a startup, and that's when we basically met. My role was done in around February, but we already had this idea started, and I decided to just spend my my whole time working on it. And so today I'm full time on it.
What about you, Carlos?
All right. So my story, I would say, kind of different from his, and also I would say unconventional path. I also had the dream of coming here for a lot of years, and I would say the reason was probably the same, coming from the same country. The narrative is also kind of similar, the one you have like around the same country, obviously. You grow up like watching, also like social media does a lot. So I would say the reason is similar. But I had a past in my previous degree was law and technology, which is very interesting. I would say it's still interesting to me. And I always kind of want to put into practice what I study to really understand what I'm doing. And if I do like it, you really have to work into it to understand that, I believe. And so that I tried that. I was like, that's nice. But like people, beautiful environment, whatever. But I just didn't feel like it was the right thing for me. So I decided I kept working at a restaurant while I was doing the internship there. And I've been working in a restaurant for like 4 or 5 years. As I changed a lot of roles there, which helped me a lot. And I really do recognize that it was a very, very helpful experience. Very helpful. I would recommend anybody to try that at least, because you really understand how the vision is from the backstage of going for a dinner, let's say. There's a lot of beautiful things about it, like you're working into like around people who are celebrating, so they're very happy, which is beautiful, right? Which is also the fun thing about organizing events, right? So tonight we probably are a little bit, I don't want to say like that we feel pressure, but like, we want it to be good. But that's the good thing, because we're gonna be there and people are gonna enjoy and everybody are gonna be happy, hopefully. So that's why we love to do that, right? After that, I decided, why not trying to jump outside of Italy? I won't say like Italy is bad, obviously, but I just felt like I needed my experience outside. I've done an Erasmus program outside in the Netherlands for like 6 months. I felt it was not enough for me. So I started looking in Europe. And I'm like, okay, let's start to apply to the best ones. I got rejected, all of them. Actually, I have applied to the best ones because I don't know, I was just ambitious, but on the paper, I understand why I got rejected. I do understand that. Anyways, I was like, okay, this is kind of late. I have 3 months to September, and I had to find a school because I wanted to keep studying. So I applied last minute to a bunch of schools here in the US, and eventually I got accepted here in New York. I'm like, let's do it. So actually I got accepted on August 1st, I think. In like 3 weeks, I've done it all, and I was like here. So it was kind of crazy journey.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy, honestly, because I had applied almost a year before the start date. Yes.
Yeah, that's the time. Like
3 months. So prepare yourself for a transatlantic move within 3
yeah,
months.
I had some help actually. I knew a person that has a lot of connections here with the schools, so it kind of helped me for sure a lot. So I really do thank you that.
And to talk about New York Business Fellowship in more detail, you guys are trying to put on more events in a world that's it's growingly more digital. You guys are emphasizing in real life experiences. Why is that important? And if you could share a bit more about what you guys are trying to build.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So, the New York Business Fellowship is a 1-week selection-based bootcamp program. So it's an experience, as you said, offered to international students and young professionals to have them come here and immerse them in the business ecosystem of New York City that has a lot of industries, a lot of mentors, a lot of
Capital.
case competitions, a lot of insights, a lot of things that you can do. It really has it's really a city, New York, that has everything for you to grow personally and professionally. Um, and I don't even want to talk and get into the details of the venture capital scene, the marketing scene, the banking industry, because it should be, to me, it's already taken for granted. It's like so huge, and they call it the capital of the world for a reason, and
I mean,
so.
numbers speak. It's not that we feel that, right?
Yeah, I think we don't need to back it up with data, but in terms of in real life experiences, um, that's for sure a big value. When we came here, we didn't know how to connect with people, where to find these people, maybe even how to do a case competition or how to organize events. And so we realized, okay, let's narrow it down and find an in-person experience where people from abroad or other parts of the United States can come here, um, have a great time learning. So not going to Statue of Liberty to take pictures, but to have fun in a more business-oriented way.
So we're speaking about the New York Business Fellowship. We've spoken about New York, but what about the business fellow, right? I'm not sure if you all are planning on being selective on who can be a business fellow, but whether you are or not, who do you think would make a good New York business fellow?
That's a very good question. I would say, yeah, obviously New York is quite straightforward. It's in the city, obviously. Business fellowship. So we were actually, yes, here upstairs choosing the name. And we were like, okay, fellowship is kind of short. Why is fellowship? Because basically these guys who come, they have this time together. They obviously create connections here in the city, but obviously also within each other. So they're going to become fellows. We're going to grow a community with them. And also the business part, it's because we were thinking a lot about that. And business, it's kind of general as a word itself, but it was meant to be. Because obviously we have so much ideas of how we could develop that. Okay, so this is like the starting idea. But obviously like business, because this is the business city for sure. So we were like, okay, it has a bunch of industries. It has a lot of capital. You do business here. That's the thing. It doesn't matter in what industry, you do business here. So that's why.
And to kind of add on top of that, when I think about the average business fellow who is an exceptional individual, who we obviously want to select through a rigorous selection process, I think of the 18-year-old maybe business management student in France or in Italy or in China, who is really keen on learning new soft skills in the business world. That could be how to network, how to find clients, and don't necessarily look for theory, because there is so much to learn in a city like New York from just staying with people and being with people. Another example might be the 28-year-old who runs a small agency in Vietnam, and they want to acquire more clients. So they are getting exposure to the business world, whatever they need in a place that's the best to do business.
And what do you think is the ripple effect that you're seeking to create, right? Because what I'm seeing here is you're going to have these students that are going to have their lives changed. They're going to meet a lot of people, right? I remember for myself, the programs that I've learned the most for are the ones that were accelerator programs, or they involved meeting other people. In fact, this entire business that Leo and I have created has effectively been an accelerator program for our careers, right? I'm very interested in thinking about the ripple effect, though, because I think that the impact that you all can have should exist well beyond just the 1 week that they're in New York, for example. Have you thought of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one quick thing that I'll mention is that we aim to bring people together here and create connections within the fellows and outside of the fellowship group with mentors, speakers, partners that we have. And the beautiful part, if you think about it, is that a fellow can meet another fellow and they can become co-founders. That's one outcome. And that takes you a long way. If you are looking for a co-founder, you're desperate and you don't want to go through the YC co-founder matching program. Another outcome could be perhaps people who start sharing in our community and in our group chats job opportunities to come work in the United States. So when you have people that jointly come in a unique place all together and they become fellows, I think you create a huge community of New York business fellows over time, over months, years, that it's so incredibly powerful that there is no limit.
And you guys should really think about what you want to do with this community after the fact. I think it would be a shame, right? Like, I think Leon and I recently have spoken about what are things that we can do with people that we've had on our show, or that we've even done like a short form interview with, right? Like, how can we connect this network, right? Like, because for us, like, now you all effectively, by doing an event with us, right, and by being on the show, you are a part of Koya's Collective. You're part of the collective, right? It is a group of innovators, entrepreneurs, free thinkers, right? That's what we consider you all to be. Something that you should think about. It really is something you should think about.
I wanted to add something on top of that because I think it's very important. We do value a lot of diversity, which I think also New York is known for. So as I mentioned before, a lot of industries, whatever, but also a lot of different people. So for example, I don't know, in Silicon Valley, you go outside to the bar and you're like, all these guys are speaking tech. I'm like, okay, I want to do fashion. Where should I go? Okay, I want to do fashion. I want to jump into the fashion business, whatever. So here, I feel like contamination is a real value. It's not just about meeting random people, right? Like, this diversity of these people gives each one a lot of inspiration, a lot of collaborations, a lot of energy, I would say. So we do value that into our program, and we want to provide them with also the knowledge of how to leverage their network and the community we're building, and also give them a lot of information, as he mentioned. Also, let's say he mentioned the persona of the 18-year-old guy, but it could be also a young founder who comes here because he needs connection, obviously for a different reason. Probably he could be also surprised by how the 18-year-old guy could provide value to him. And also we're going to provide information about like how you could end up living here, working here. Some related, like some visas are related, information obviously not visas are related, like visas literally, but like information about that, which I believe, for example, for us was, and I know back in Italy, like we didn't know how messy it was here.
Guys, so like honestly, like think about who you target your market is going to be. You know, DD super specific about it. Well, I think about there's salary, but there's going to be anybody who wants to learn more about what it's like to live in a new city. Trying to help them be able to stay here. That's a really kind of extension on that. No need to run beyond that. Honestly. I mean, we aren't meant to just for anyone, right? But for your business, the residents will come when you have like targeted market. So I'm really interested in that. I mean, I guess fortunately, you do wrap up soon. I would love to ask you a question. You guys are impact driven, right? I see it's very clear that you're not interested in this for developers, sense, you're not interested in this for followers, not just in this for community influence. It seems like very clear that you're in this for a lot of different reasons. So I must ask, not for New York Business Fellowship, not for any business that you're currently involved in, but rather generally, what would you like your legacy to be?
So when I think about this question, and more generally what I'm trying to achieve in a specific moment, in a given time, I think about two things. The first is, what are those things that I can do very good every day, no matter what, no matter the money, no matter the connections, no matter where I'm gonna head towards. And that is meeting people and being nice, because I think that takes you really a long way. And you never know. The second thing is, when we create connections and we meet people and we become friends, again, it's not strictly, actually it's not at all for profit, for growth. It's more to actually discover and find out what at a personal level you want. So in this instance, is this experience, if I think about even the creation of the New York Business Fellowship itself, I see it as a growing path that is kind of telling me every day, okay, you see, you don't like this, but you do like this other thing. And I think this is very impactful, and is going to be very impactful on myself, because nowadays we are exposed to so many different impulses everywhere, especially on social media, online in general, that we often don't know where to head. And I know that I don't want to head to a specific destination, but rather adjust every day. And money doesn't buy that.
Yeah, I'll add to that I mean, for me, it's really, as you said, like, I think it's really about the impact, and I want to have a good impact in terms of how I define good, right? So for me, I think, as you said, the first thing, be kind, be gentle, be polite. I think it's really important. You really need to wanna help people, because that's what it's all about, right? Like, we could do, we're also discussing this some like few days ago. We were coming up with some, I don't know, some gambling fun ideas that seemed really easy to do, right? Because like people are animals after all, right? So you can really make a lot of money out of that. But it's, as you said, like, what do you want your legacy to be? You can be rich as hell doing bad things. You can become viral, jumping naked into a fontaine, whatever. Do you want that? Like, you probably want to be, I don't know, famous. I personally don't want to be famous necessarily, but I do want to have an impact. And what kind of impact? That kind.
And in terms of, you guys are launching later this month. You know, for Koyas Collective, Antonio and I, we launched late 2024, but we had a long runway prior to that. What lessons leading up to this launch can you distill to those founders that, you know, probably want to do not just, you know, community building, but like any product in general?
Yeah, so good question, but I'll specify founders, because again, it could be the founder was the immigrant founder, the American founder. So we are immigrant founders, and the first point would be to don't underestimate immigration laws here in the U.S. It took us quite a long time to figure out, you know, what visa we could work for, the O1, the E2, the limitations of our current visas, and what we could do and can do without, you know, being deported, basically, at the end of the day. So for sure, for an immigrant founder, I would recommend to, you know, do your own research, but then if possible, even take it to the next level and talk to, you know, do a free immigration consulting call with a lawyer. There is a lot out there. So that would be the first step. And a second lesson personally is that when you are at the beginning, it's okay to get timelines and deadlines wrong. We wanted to launch earlier in May, but then we couldn't do it because of several issues. And then we're like, okay, it's fine. So the key message, the bottom line is, it's fine if when you're getting started, you make a lot of mistakes, you don't get that deadline right. Nobody at the beginning, especially when you are bootstrapping, that's kind of lucky to say, you don't have investors chasing you, so to speak. So you can kind of do whatever you want, but you should definitely learn when you make a mistake. So in our case, and to me personally, I think that we maybe messed up a little bit with some deadlines for our official launch, and then we had to redefine the trajectory. But now we are on track, and hopefully it'll turn for the best.
Take your time, guys. You have your whole lives ahead of you. Honestly, take your time.
Good. I will say, I mean, first of all, I mean, as of now, we're like small entrepreneurs, right? So I don't feel like giving advice as I was, you know, the mentor. But like, since I've learned something during this process, I would say also I was this mentor says if you don't have evidence, build if you don't have confidence, build evidence. So basically, as a wannabe founder, I would say take that and try to think about that, because you're not a founder as of today, let's say, but you want to become one. What are founders? What do they do? How did they become that? Is it really what you want to be? Like a founder in general, just to say a founder, or do you want to have an impact somehow? And do things that obviously it seems like a cliche, couple cliches I will say, but they really help me. One is like do things that people who have done what you want to achieve are doing or have done. And secondly, just network a lot. Like go outside, meet people, write messages, remind the names. I think those are really important things to do. I would just stop here.
Amazing, amazing. And we've spoken a lot about New York Business Fellowship, but we'd like to give you all the opportunity to pitch the startup in 10 seconds. So I don't know which one of you would like to, or maybe a tag team, but 10 seconds on New York Business Fellowship.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I kind of half pitched it at the very beginning when you guys asked the question. So if you want, I'll let you do that.
I mean, 10 seconds.
Or a
it-
few sentences.
We have a line that fits 10 seconds.
10 seconds, let's go.
New York Business Fellowship is a 7-day selection-based program where you get fast-tracked into the business ecosystem of New York City.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. And you said to network. We're here this week, New York Tech Week. What have you guys been doing? What events have you guys been going to? And how can you describe New York Tech Week and how it has helped your journey?
Yeah. So it's our first ever New York Tech Week. It's exciting to think that a lot of people are even flying from other countries and cities nearby, or who knows, maybe from the other side of the world, just for this 7-day occasion. But yeah, we've been going to a couple of other events, tech related, also technical, more technical, just because we want to try and expand our network with people in many different industries. It's going to be ultimately a very huge benefit that we're going to be providing to fellows when they can get connected to the SaaS founder, the AI investor, or the marketing manager at a fan company. So the more diverse and rich our network, the better it is, not only for us, but for the fellows. So we've seen so far Techstars events, MasterCard events. We're both going for, as I mentioned, speakers, mentors, also for venues, because in New York, it's kind of hard to find very great venues that are open or half open, I would say, to the public. And yeah, it's been great so far, but this is just half. We still have our event, obviously, which I'm very, very excited for, and 3 more days to go. So, and this has been great so far.
Can you try to describe the New York Tech Week experience in one sentence?
That's kind of hard, but
I mean, I would try to say, sadly, in one word, AI. I said it. It's kind of sad because, for example, yesterday we went to the Techstars event. It was about Web3, and it was, not exactly AI, even though they also can work together greatly. But I do believe that it's not a bubble. It's a great thing. It will change humanity. But it's not the only thing that will do that. So that's
what's trending nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
understand that, but
yeah, that's definitely true. That there is a lot of AI events, and perhaps it's good that people are getting exposure into that field and industry. But I would say in one sentence that I've seen New York Tech Week to be a little bit too mainstream, and it needs a little refresh with more upscale events. We have a couple ideas for next year with more highly selective type of events. narrowing down different industries and touching upon different sectors around the New York business ecosystem. But I see some of them have been too mainstream, I would say. Or I would say even big FANG names.
Membership clubs are big these days as well.
It's a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a way to do a membership club or to have a selective event, but also to make it accessible, right? And I think that if you're a brand, right, you could have one event that is selected, but it's based off the industry, right? There's a lot of ways to kind of merge, I think, both the accessibility component and the selective component, because both of those concepts are in right now.
Yeah.
And it may seem like they're disconnected, but if you have a great brand, you're gonna be able to bridge both. I know that's what we try to do. And I think you guys would try to do that too. And when we work together, we will also try to do that. I think this is a good place to stop, guys.
Absolutely.
This has been wonderful.
Where can people find you guys and learn more about New York Business Fellowship?
Yeah, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Personally, Carlos and I are very active on social media, more specifically on LinkedIn. We post a lot about our journey, and I think that's probably what we enjoy doing every day, sharing our stories.
Exactly. So yes, LinkedIn, Instagram, New York Business Fellowship, and also we're gonna open the website in a bit.
Yeah.
Looking forward for the event tonight, and shout out Andrea Legnani for the sponsorship, the Illuminati group.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you guys for setting this up.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Cool.
Very cool. Good job, guys. Good job. You guys are great.